I don't care that it's a horrible old cliche, but that was definitely a thriller at the Villa. Graeme, I apologise for that, but belting game, wasn't it? And worthy winners for you, Villa?
I actually thought when Leicester levelled, I thought they would go on and win it because they've got real quality, Leicester. And once they get that sort of wind in their sail and that momentum, they flow really well. But credit to Villa, they defended well at that once Leicester had equalised, and then the quality of the finish, the ball in and the Trezeguet goal was excellent. Putting the ball back across the goal, even if he doesn't score, it gives someone else a chance, doesn't it, Kevin?
You would have to say probably on the balance of play, Leicester were the better side, created the better chances, but just goes to show that if you defend well, which they did in the first leg. I was there last Tuesday against Watford. Didn't play well first half, but second half played really well, defended really well, solid. You have to take your chances, and the way they won it against Watford last kick in a similar scenario this evening, amazing for them. I'm absolutely delighted for them. Having living in the area, I know what it means to them. Where they are in the Premier League.
You've got to say that for your own safety.
Of course, yeah. When I next go there.
But also with Grealish, he's really developing into a fantastic player, obviously a talisman for that team. But his quality, we were talking about it whilst we were watching the game, weren't we? His quality, his ability to pick out passes, take responsibilities. He's got real leadership skills in the way he wants the ball anywhere on the pitch, and is prepared to take sort of risks, but clever risks, if that makes sense, not reckless.
Going back to what Kev was saying about taking your chances across the two legs, shots on target. Leicester 43. Villa 12. Does that tell us the story?
I think it does, actually, yeah. I mean, Nyland, the goalkeeper tonight, he made some fantastic saves, particularly in the first half, made 3 brilliant saves. Came in and looked like he really wanted to prove a point.
He proved it.
Yeah,
he's got to play in the final, and it'd be unbelievable if he weren't to play.
Can you imagine having that conversation? Just give me a minute.
I mean, he was man of the match, and I don't think you could argue with that, could you?
No, and I think for Leicester, I think they're creating plenty of opportunities, but many occasions this evening, that final bit, shots, even players like Maddison with the quality he's got, balls over the crossbar. And I think players, I mean, you obviously, proper goal scorer, unlike myself, but I think players do tighten up sometimes when you start to, when you're missing the target and you're missing chances regularly, people start to think, well, I've got to score this one of us has to score, and then it can make it harder.
Yeah, I think obviously the debate is should he have started Vardy? He's been a big blow, hasn't he? He's already got 17 goals this season. You'd like to think if he'd have started this evening fresh, it might have been a different outcome. But credit to Villa, it doesn't matter. They've taken their chance. They're the ones in the final. And I said to you when we were watching the game, it's almost a similar scenario when I was at Birmingham. We went on and won the cup with a last-minute goal over Femi Martins, but we went on and got relegated. Now I hope that Villa go to the final. I can almost smell them getting something, but I just hope that it doesn't have a knock-on effect.
How did it affect Birmingham in that situation? I mean, Villa not bad form at the moment. I think I heard Jack Grealish say that the only recent loss was against Manchester City.
Well, we were actually in bad form going into the game, so it was a huge surprise. It was a mistake from the Arsenal goalkeeper, a tap-in. And on the balance of the play that day, Arsenal probably deserved to win the game. But we weren't in great form going into it, whereas Jack is right in what he's saying. I've watched their last few games. They've actually done okay. They're playing some good stuff. You can see the confidence. They've brought in Samata, another striker. I think they'll try and add another one before the window shuts. If they can keep Jack fit, I agree with Graeme. He's getting better every week. And I was lucky enough, I had a chat with him last week after the game. And not that I give him some advice, but I just said to him, why'd you go and get it off the centre half? Why'd you go and get it off the left back? He said, I just feel that responsibility of being the captain, that I have to lead by example.
Yeah, to make things happen.
To make things happen. I'm like, that's great. I said, but believe you, having coached, worked closely with manager, you're better doing that in the final third, where you can hurt teams like you did tonight.
I've been specifically told not to give him any advice.
Is he the sort, though, Jack Grealish, that obviously he's a bright lad, he's an intelligent boy, and he will listen to coaching advice, but in a way, he plays the game in such a natural way, in a natural fashion, and you don't want to coach that out of him?
I don't think you can coach what he's got. He's a sort of player, technically, he's just a gifted footballer. He can sit and analyse the game, we can sit down and watch a video. We flip it to Leicester, I think Jamie Vardy's got better tactically under Brendan Rodgers in terms of he doesn't go chasing things that he perhaps would have done 2-3 seasons ago. So I think Jack is just a natural footballer. but he's intelligent, like you said, and he learns the game very quick.
And players like that, you want to harness the unique skill that they've got, the ability, because they don't come along that often, players like that, that natural ability and the character to take the responsibility and want the ball in difficult areas. But what you can definitely do is help them with their decision making. And that's the key for any young player, I think, is the ability to make the right decision more often will define who you become. And the pass selection tonight, a couple of those crosses he put in, the one for the goal, one before that for Samatta, was a beautiful ball. And again, that relies on a split-second decision and seeing that space and the shape of the pass. That's pure talent. But decision-making around how far to drop into a defensive position, where you're most effective, where do you save energy. So just becoming a more efficient and rounded player, I think, is absolutely coachable.
Fantastic scenes on the final whistle, real joyous scenes. Trezeguet up on the shoulders, absolutely brilliant, and a night they will really, really enjoy. But do they have to be careful, Aston Villa, in some ways, that they treat this as a brilliant occasion, but separate from the fact they're just outside the relegation zone and not get distracted by that? Can that happen to a team that gets to the final? I mean, it's a final that's early in the season, admittedly.
I don't think nowadays, I think with the coaching staff they've got in place there, John Terry with his experience, Dean Smith, I just don't see it having an effect. I think they'll enjoy tonight, then they'll park it, and then they'll look forward to it when it comes around. They've got a huge game at the weekend. And tomorrow they'll focus on that. I just don't see...
Can it work as a boost, Kevin?
Yeah, I think it can. You're winning football matches.
Yeah.
As I say, I was there last week. You could just feel it in the stadium when that goal went in. Again tonight with the atmosphere around the city, they've almost got that bit between their teeth now where they just think we're on a roll. And winning football match just breeds confidence.
Well,
of course, I thought Leicester were a better team tonight, but it doesn't matter. They went on and won the football match, and that can only help them.
And it's very easy to overlook the fact that these guys are training every day. So going in tomorrow is going to be a pleasurable experience for them. If you're on the receiving end of a bashing and you're on a bad run of form, going into training every day, you've got to get yourself in the right frame of mind when you get out your car and go and put on the positive version of you, even if you're thinking, oh my goodness, we're struggling again. The key for them, I think, between now and the end of the season is going to be their defence, because they're only one of 3 teams that have conceded more than 40 goals. And I think if they can, as all defenders would say, if you can create that base, it gives everyone else up the field more confidence, gives your strikers more confidence that it
takes pressure off your strikers.
Exactly.
Ordinarily, I would agree with you 100%, but given that Wesley is out to the end of the season, we won't see him again this season, is a striker an absolute must for them in this window? I mean, they're not the only club to have been linked with Mitrovic, but it doesn't look like Scott Parker's letting him go, and nobody could blame him. There was even talk of Benteke returning on loan. Do they need to do something?
Well, I think it's the obvious position, isn't it? But depending on that striker, again, you get these sort of strikers that have got big reputations. And Mitrovic, he thrives on delivery and what have you. I think Villa, with their wing backs, they're more likely to get crosses in. But many teams we see bringing in big, strong strikers, and then they don't put crosses in. And Wesley, for all of his physical presence and prowess, he wasn't getting a huge amount of good quality supply in areas that he could attack. He was expected to be a technical ball player a lot of the time.
Would you want more than Samatta available to you if you're Dean Smith?
Yeah, I think a priority. I think Dean's already come out and said he'd like to add another striker to the squad, and I'm sure he said behind the scenes they're working extremely hard. If that isn't to happen, I think that puts the onus on Jack again.
Yeah.
He's got 9 goals this season, playing higher, because he can score goals. What he needs to do is just keep putting himself in better positions to score, because he's got the technical ability. But, from what I've seen of Samatta tonight, we can't judge him on tonight. He's been chucked into one of Villa's biggest games for a long, long, long time. So it'd be interesting to see how he fares in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And just that he had a chance from the Grealish, and if he'd just thrown himself at it, he hesitated slightly. But, suddenly everything looks very different. His first game, goal, bang, off he goes, and people are talking about him. And I'm sure, obviously it takes a little bit of time. McGinn's a miss for them as well, I think. He was such an important player. Yeah. And he was a bit of a foil for Jack Grealish. They worked together really well, I thought. And so, you can't overlook the fact that he's out long term as well.